So, I happen to have here not only somebody that I've had the pleasure of knowing for literally since I was like 12 years old or so, 13 years old, sixth grade. Uh, haven't really talked in like the last 10 years or so. So, this is like our first real conversation. This is us basically catching up, but I also. He's done a few things recently in the last couple of years that's made me intrigued. And instead of me just texting over the phone again, the conversation there, it actually would love to have it on here so that this way this could be also something that's more motivating for people that are maybe thinking about doing something and are really just contemplating if they're going to take advantage, if you're going to do this, if you have the energy to do this, if you have the discipline to do this. I gotta tell you, Chris is all three, so I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself here.
Hi. Well, thanks for having me, man. When you reached out, it was pretty cool because I've seen some of your episodes and they're pretty motivating. So I don't even watch TV anymore. I just watch podcasts. So
Good, same,
it's
because it's all just bullshit and bias shit that's on the TV
yeah,
nowadays. Nothing's
I
ever
don't
really
even have,
truth. It's just all podcasting now.
but yeah, man. Well, recently, I guess from the beginning to like reintroduce myself. I guess I don't know if people that might have known me in the past will see this video, but um, basically, my name is Chris Umana, right? And um, I came from New York, Brentwood, New York, which is now that I go every time I go back now, which is very few, far and few between. But I don't even reckon I have to use GPS now, like to even get around. Um,
Damn, the roots are gone. The roots are gone.
completely, completely gone. Not necessarily, maybe like not my fundamental roots, right? I definitely learned a lot while I lived there as a kid, uh, and I experienced a lot. But I guess I just been like I've called home uh, to like many different places. So like I've called the desert a home. Uh,
But
right
yes,
now,
yeah, Chris is a U.S Army veteran, so I do want to thank you for your service also from one service member to another. I do want to thank you for actually deploying. So I want to thank you for actually serving your country while I stayed stateside.
yeah, hey, everybody serves in their own way, man. Um, but yeah, right now actually I call Hawaii home. I'll get a little more in detail as to why I moved here later, but yeah, right now it's around 2 p.m. here in Hawaii. Um, but yeah,
Did you get stationed there and then you just enjoyed living there and it was just something that you wanted to continue doing?
no, actually, I didn't. So my last like active duty, like duty station was Afghanistan, actually.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was. I spent the last 2 years of my active duty career there.
Damn,
Yeah,
2 years.
yeah. Um,
Damn.
it was supposed to be just a year and year some change, but it got extended because of the
Because
COVID.
Army. Yeah, and yeah. Oh shit, damn, I forgot about that. You were over there during the COVID.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
they had to they had to go. You know, my leadership had to go through like a whole bunch of paperwork just to get me home, and I basically came back to the States just as a regular civilian because I had like when I came back, I had like days left on my contract, and but uh, but yeah, but yeah, no, I never got stationed here. After I got out, I got out in Texas because they had to send me to a warrior transition unit because I didn't even have a unit
Hmm.
because I was out the army basically. And instead of moving back, yeah, it was ridiculous. It was insane.
That's just so fucking Army. It's like it's
Yeah,
so it's so fucking ass backwards and broken. It's
it,
literally soup sandwiches.
it was insane. I was pretty mad because just like in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna be here a year, and then to end up staying there an additional year was just like, you know, it did it.
Yeah,
It did.
that much more of a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mm,
So,
mm.
but yeah, no, I was never stationed here. After I got out in Texas, instead of moving back to New York, which I thought about moving back there and going to school there. or just staying in Texas, I just decided that I needed time to kind of just reflect on what I just did the past 6 years. Cause I just didn't, my life in active duty was so fast paced that I just didn't have enough time to process it all. Um, yeah. So
When did you enlist, and why did you enlist?
so I enlisted a year before we graduated. So I was it was the beginning of our senior year in high school. And
Oh shit!
it was very,
I had no idea that year
yeah,
you were also damn.
yeah. So I enlisted before I graduated. And then instead of like sending me, I guess they send soldiers to basic training before they graduate high school and come back. Um,
Yeah,
I just,
especially the National Guard is really big with that. They do that for the 11th graders. They'll send them off to basic training for the summertime, and then boom, they come back, and then they go do their AIT. It's the
are you
dumbest fucking thing.
16, like 17, you don't know nothing.
Dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah, it was, yeah, definitely.
Next to holiday block leave. Holiday block leave is the most.
I would eliminate that thing too, man. Like
You're,
it's
dude.
like
They fucked with us
there's
so bad.
yeah, like you do a disservice, I think, to people by putting them in like a, you know, for
You're
most
giving them
people that,
2 weeks of comfort, and then to come back to the same hellhole again, like
oh
to go through that reprogress, the re-transformation again into shit. This sucks again.
yeah, it's such a disservice to people that, especially people that have never done anything hard in their life.
Mhm.
That's like either they'll ever do or have done. So like to put them back in a comfort zone and then take them out again, it's like so it's really hard on a lot of people. So they
I'll never
should,
forget where my basic training class. It was 2015 into 2016. We started off with like 200 plus, then graduated with like 170-ish, somewhere in between there. And the majority of that leave came from when soldiers came back from the holiday block leave. Most of them wanted to quit during that time frame. I was almost one of them. I wanted, when I came back after those 2 weeks, I was like, damn, I'm back in this shit again. And it was just like starting back from day one. The thing that got me the most was just hearing my drill sergeant's voice. The second we got back to the barracks, and hearing his voice, it was just, fuck, here we go again. But at the same time, though, it's just a it is a blessing to be home for the holidays, yeah, but at the same time, it's completely setting your soldier back if you're looking for some progress. I get it, like weeding out the week and all this stuff, like so you can actually do it, like so you can stay time with the family and then go back and then dedicate their time. Like I understand that tactic, but at the same time, it's a very fucking mental destructive tactic.
yeah. Luckily I didn't have to experience that because I went during the summer and the beginning of the fall. So as soon as we graduated high school in June, the end of June or something, I left to basic training August 11th of 2014 to Fort Benning. And I just remember just I even had no idea what the hell I was getting into, man. I was so, you know, not to like beat my old kid self down, but I was so mentally and physically weak. Uh, I think, right? Maybe at that time I probably thought I wasn't, but like I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. Like I went in there and then I think it was like the first like 2 weeks I got an ankle injury because I just didn't know how to climb a rope. So like instead of using like the J hook technique or the snake technique or something like that, I just try to manpower up, which I don't know what I was thinking of trying to do that because I didn't have the strength at the time, nor the skill. So I went like halfway, dropped, and there was like two mats. I remember there was like two mats, you know, just in case you fell. But of course, I landed right in between them, and I hit the grass, the ground, and
Damn.
yeah, and I ended up like doing a ruck march, like the I ended up doing a ruck march with crutches. Uh, yeah,
They put your ass on crutches and you're
crutches. So like the
damn.
lead,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, the leadership there gave me like an option. They're like, oh, you can like recycle or like restart the training from day one, or you can continue because if I missed one more event, I was gonna be like dropped. Or you can just do the short march with crutches, and we'll just pretend your crutches are not there. You get what I'm saying? So
I
when they
see.
told
No, no, no. I see exactly what you're saying, and I'm also very impressed that you did that fucking 12-mile ruck in
me,
crutches.
I was like, I'm doing the walk. I'm doing the march with crutches. I'm not about to do this again.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that recycle shit. That's
Yeah,
some Goggin shit.
yeah, fuck that. So I just did it. I don't know how I just did, but yeah,
It's like exactly what Goggin says though. It's like you put yourself into a zone mentally, and your body is physically able to do a lot. And what I tell a lot of my clients, and I'll say this out loud to myself also, is that your mind quits before your body does every single time. Your
yeah,
mind will always quit, but your body can definitely push harder. It's just you're not allowing yourself to break that comfort zone.
yeah. I mean, it can go back and forth definitely. Like it can go from mind to body, especially like in ultra running. Uh, this was my
Which
first.
also, yes, congratulations on that completing the ultra marathon.
I appreciate that. That was definitely an experience. I'm definitely gonna do it more. But yeah,
Damn,
that's just
dude, like that's just next level, like just mentally tough trying to complete one of those.
yeah. So like when it comes to like long competitions like that, your physical ability, your mental state can definitely switch back and forth. I know it did for me for many of those miles. But yeah, like to go back to like the military thing, like I felt like throughout the training of it before I actually got into like the army, um, I feel like I was just there, like barely meeting like their standards because I just didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like around. I was like, okay, well, I made it through that. Let me see if I can make it through this next, right? And to go back to like why I joined, I honestly was not going to. Uh, like I had because I was 17, so I had to ask my mom permission to join. I had to get her wet signature on paperwork, and I was like, no, I'm not joining. It was just like a thought, and then I went to sleep that night, and then woke up the next morning, and I was like, dude, stop being such a bitch. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, just do
Stop
it.
being such a bitch. I
Yeah,
love it. Stop being
yeah.
such a
Stop being such
bitch.
a quit. Like, cares. Like, and at that time, I said that to myself, but I didn't really expect to finish it or to go through with it. I was like, all right, let me just see how far I can go. I can go with it. And then, yeah, so like, that's literally why. Because I was set on going to school to like, I forgot what university at this point, but I forgot, like, I was really at like I have applied to universities and all this stuff. So I was going to go to school for, I don't know, something, just because I felt like it was the right thing to do or something. But
Right, because
and
that's what we're brainwashed into thinking that's what
yeah,
we're supposed to be doing.
yeah, and then and as you get older, it's like you definitely don't need that. I'm in school now. I'm in school now only because I want to be, only because I want to learn. Right? I don't really need it.
Right.
I'm 25. Like if I haven't used like school or any like if I haven't done school since and I'm 25 already, I'm pretty sure I don't need it for another 25 years. Like
No,
yeah,
trust me, I get what you're saying. But the one thing that is now is that you're not forced to learn. Now you're just wanting to learn. Like you're
yeah,
not. It's not
huge,
something that's being
huge,
forced down your throat.
huge difference between wanting and being
You're
forced to
forced to
learn.
learn it.
Yeah, it's just like your mentality going into it is completely different. Like I love going to school now. I love it. Yesterday
Because you're learning
actually
about
was
something you're learning. You're learning about something you love.
yeah, yeah. Yesterday was my first day in a college classroom, in a classroom period since high school. Yesterday, because
How's the
yeah,
experience?
uh, it was very weird because I was sitting in a classroom. with like, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. And, it's not necessarily like I'm pretty sure they're academically smarter, but you can just tell maturity wise, I was just like you, like, not to insult them, but I can just tell. I was like, wow, you're like,
You could tell who was a privilege, who was spoon
yeah,
fed, who mommy and daddy took care of them at all times,
sure.
paid everything off for them.
And who still do. But yeah, yesterday was my first day in class, and I liked it though. It was good. But yeah, though.
I
Yeah,
really can't believe they're already fucking. It's we were talking about it before we started recording, but I still have disbelief that it's almost 10 years since we officially graduated. Just because it literally does feel like yesterday that day we were sweating to death out there.
yeah, man. It was. I can't believe it's been that long either. It seemed like what we're talking about like before recording. It seems like it's been a long time, but at the same time, it has. Like,
A
like
lot's happened in 8 years. A lot's
yeah,
happened.
definitely. It's like you don't really realize how much time goes by because you're doing all this stuff every single day until you kind of stop for a second and then you like reflect. And I'm like, damn, like, I don't know about you, but I don't really speak to almost anyone from
Mm-hmm.
from high school at all.
Same like
At,
they follow me and all this stuff, and then I see that they like and they comment like, and I see their pictures and all these things. But as far as like real interaction, hanging out in person and all this stuff, like I really don't hang out with or do much with really anybody at all from high school
but
anymore. I can't think of too many.
do you still live like on Long Island?
Yeah, no, I'm still on the island. I'm still on the north side.
Oh,
I gotta tell you, it's
is it
definitely gotten better though.
is it weird to see people like that I've never.
Occasionally, yeah, depending on the person. It's like it's depending it's depending on the person. Like just recently, I ran into a couple of people that I've actually ran into a couple of people we went to high school with, and two of them actually come to my gym every now and then. So I was able to catch up with some of them. So that way, it's also good because I'm seeing them in a more positive environment versus seeing them out at night in the club. Like
Yeah,
it's seeing them get all trashy and then, oh my god, I haven't seen you since like calm down with that energy, like lower your voice. Like
yeah.
I don't need any of that type of shit. Like seeing you in the gym or like seeing people out and about just randomly, or even with the bracelet business. Honestly, that's another thing. Like sometimes people have been purchasing my bracelets and they're people that we graduated with, so it's a quick catch up.
Mm. Yeah, I can't imagine. Clearly, I haven't really been around, and every time I go, I don't really run into anyone at all. So
Just
I don't
just
know if
just go to the Bayshore Mall. You're guaranteed to run into at least one person, whether they
like
work there or whether they're just walking around.
maybe, yeah. I haven't been there in such a long. I forget that place existed. I thought it was shut down or something. But
No, the one on
yeah.
Sunrise Highway though, over out east did though. The Sunrise Mall got shut down.
Oh wow. Okay. But yeah, man. I actually plan on going there like around the end of May. Uh, we'll see
Well, if you
if I go.
definitely come, if you do, definitely stop by my gym because first of all, it's a very veteran friendly gym, so be more than
Yeah,
happy to have you down there and come check it out.
yeah, definitely. That's like one of the first places one of the first places I stop when I travel is a gym. Just to either like convince them to let me work out for a day or two, or try to get like a pass to like work out. I don't know, but
I
yeah,
mean, majority of the time, like we get a we have a free 3 day pass at my gym, so you can literally come to the gym and just it's 3 consecutive days. So if you sign up on like a Friday, it'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's
okay, yeah,
Yeah, no, it's legit the best gym I've ever worked for, hands down. And there's a reason why I'm trying to pull as many people. Like, yeah, it's a little bit more on the pricier side, but at the same time, like the equipment,
there's
the atmosphere, the things that you have available to you between the fact that there's already a meal prep installed, there's already a smoothie bar installed in the area, there's saunas. Like the only thing the place does not have is like a pool. That's it. Everything else it's got.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It sounds like a good gym. Sure. And it looks like a good gym, like your videos. I'm like, oh, they have a lot of equipment.
It's
So,
basically it's like a $10 million gym. Like it's
ooh,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah. And the fact that also, shout out to the owners because they took a major hit as far as when COVID happened because Unique has three different gyms and uh w- the one I work at is the newest one, but it's also the largest and the most expensive one because it has everything up to par, state of the line equipment. It has this giant jumbotron that you're able to do advertisements on. It's got a kids club. It's got, like I said before, the redefined meals. It's everything that you need in a gym, and it's just beautiful to be able to bring people to a place where you're able to transform yourself mentally and physically at the same time because the instructors that we have there, including myself also, like we're able to push people past like certain limits that are, they never thought they could, like lift a certain weight they never thought they'd be able to lift, push a certain weight they never be able to push. Like these are the things that, is doesn't ever feel like work. And I'm
Yeah.
sure the stuff that you're doing now between the photography never feels like work at all.
No, no, it doesn't. Like,
But yes, Chris is also a photographer. If you guys didn't know.
yeah, I mean, I guess to keep introducing myself, yeah, so I do running now, ultra running. Uh,
It's like
uh,
another fuck it last minute. Just why not?
yeah, like I enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy running. I have enjoyed running since I was in the army too.
How?
I guess,
How?
I guess I enjoyed the army because it was easy for me to do. I just have been a natural runner.
Okay.
So after I got out, I did it just as a hobby, and this became like a staple in my daily routine. So I was like, I do all this running. I might as well have like a goal that working towards. So I just signed up for this ultra in September, I want to say, and yeah, I've just been training for it since. And yeah, last 2 weeks ago, I finally accomplished that. But yeah, I do running, I do portrait photography, and yeah, like
Dude, the that touching back on that run, we texted a little bit about it because first off, we had to congratulate you again, but congratulate you in person. Well, not really in person, but do this fucking shit. But it's we were talking about the multiple times where you thought about quitting, even towards like the end where you were almost done and you still wanted to quit. Like that mentality to still finish, that's that true grit. Like that shows like your body fucking will push way more than your mind will.
for sure. I was going into the run, so you can only train so much, right? It's like you can only be certain of so much. So like during my training, the longest run I had was a 50 miler. Uh, that was the longest run that I did in one day during my training block. Pretty much like
50 fucking miles in a day. The
yeah.
fucking man. Fuck. I
So
have a hard time just running five.
like yeah, I mean, so like I knew going into the run, and on top of that, I didn't have any pacers. Usually people have pacers. The race allows people to have pacers at the mile like 65. I didn't have any. It was just me. Um, so like I knew I was gonna hit a wall like around mile 60ish, and I did. So like the first 40, I flew by. Like it just flew by completely. And besides in the beginning where I'm kind of clumsy, so there was a lot of roots. There was a lot of roots, and I tripped on like mile 14 or something like that. And I think I rolled down like a slight hill for like 10 seconds, but it was the longest 10 seconds of my life. Uh, like, so like I had to walk a mile or two. So that literally uh, took me like, it brought my time down, my estimated times. It threw all of it off. because I had estimated times I wanted to get to checkpoints and stuff. And then, but yeah, um, like I planned on taking like a 20-minute nap at mile 50, and because I tripped, I was like, I don't have time for sleeping. I just got to go through the whole thing. Like, that's it. I'm not doing. Like I'm just not sleeping. So I made that early, and I made my stepdad kind of worried. He's like, you're not gonna rest. I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna. So there was it's 5 loops, 20 miles in Texas, Huntsville, Texas, and I think one of the things that really affected that too was the cold. Like I live in Hawaii, right? So I couldn't, replicate that here. So it was like maybe 18 degrees when I started the run at 6
Oh
a.m.
shit! So it was dumb shocking for you then.
Cold as it was cold, like
And New York cold.
yes, and like throughout the race. So yeah, so it's a 20-mile loop, and there's like 4 checkpoints. So I technically there's like 16 stops, right? So, but at every checkpoint, I literally stopped for maybe 5 minutes or like 5-6 minutes. It was longer if I had to change my socks for sure. But it was strictly only to change and to eat something and then just go keep on. So I did that throughout the whole race. So I finished like around it was like 1 something p.m. when I finished, and I started at 6:30 a.m. So 6:30 on Saturday, and I didn't stop running until 1 p.m. So
Jeez.
I ran through the night. I ran through everything. Like it got to the point where I
Fucking
was
Forrest Gumped it. You just never stopped running.
yeah, it got to the point where I was sleeping and running at the same time. Like I would legit like shut down, and I would wake up and my feet were still moving.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, I was like hallucinating all types of shit. Like I had
that I can relate to. That shit is not fucking fun. Like,
no,
that sounds like, oh yeah, hallucinogens. No, that shit is not fucking fun at all whatsoever when you're that sleep deprived and you're literally hallucinating because of it.
yeah, I didn't even. I was like, nah, it's not gonna happen to me, and it fucking happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that shit was not fun. I had to call a friend to just like, I was like, hey man, you gotta just, I don't know what you gotta say, but just keep talking so I can just like stay up. So I was like just having a conversation with him. Not even that. I wasn't even at that point. I'm like at mile like 70. So like when I got and my face was like so frozen, I couldn't even say a sentence. I was just like so zoned out completely. So like I wasn't even speaking at that point. Like I was just like telling my friend like just keep talking. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
At that point, I literally would just play Joe Rogan through the fucking speaker. It's never just had that go on.
Yeah. There's a lot of mud in it too. So like, and during night, it was just me and my headlamp. So I had no like depth perception. So like I would walk, and then all of a sudden my whole foot is in mud, and like I would like try to take it out, and then my sock and shoe would come off, and mind you, it's like cold. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to get frostbite. I'm like, oh god. So yeah. So
Holy
like,
shit.
yeah. The
Dude, that's some
night
intense shit. That's some intense shit that you just went through.
was very intense. I learned more in that 100-mile run than I ever did in high school or in the Army. Like I went through so much in that run mentally on a personal level. I can't even. I don't even look at it. Might be dramatic. It might sound dramatic, but I can't even look at things like the same. Like
Well, that's what it's
just
supposed to do. That shit's literally supposed to break you down to the very bitter end, to the point that it's not only just a very physical challenge, but it's a severe mental challenge to complete 100 fucking miles in a crazy terrain when it's 18 fucking degrees out.
yeah. I mean, like it was like mile 70, and I was like, I'm not gonna make the time. Like I was like beating myself up. I'm like, I'm not gonna make the time that I want to meet. Uh, and I was like doing all these little calculations in my head. I'm like, if I keep this pace, I'm not gonna make it at all. like just doubt, just putting all these like little doubts in my head, like, and then it was like mile 80, and and I was like hurting bad at that point. I was like barely able to stand, and like I was like telling my crew, like I had like a few people helping me out with like nutrition and stuff, but like without them, I would have died completely.
So it was still a team effort at the end of the day.
Definitely. Like I had like my sister out there, my stepdad, and three of my close friends there. Without them, I would have died because like I would just come at a checkpoint and I would be like, I need this, I need that, I need socks, you know, and then and like base, and I already had all this laid out, you know. Like, so like I trained how I was going to run, right? So everything that I consumed, like nutrition wise, I had already experimented during my training from like September to February. So like my stomach was familiar with those foods. So like even so like at checkpoints they had like little tents where they had like foods and stuff. I rarely touched it only because I knew my stomach. Like but during a race, you don't want to try anything new. You get what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
rejected it and then upchuck and then boom, you're more fatigued.
yeah, you don't want to go off of what you have been training for and your plan. So like whatever I ate, my stomach already knew, already recognized, and I knew it wasn't going to reject. So like I would like go up to a checkpoint and then I'd be like, I want this, and like they would just bring it to me, right? And I'll just consume it or change. Or sometimes like once it came down to like mile 85 ish and stuff, I couldn't even bend down. And like so like people had to change my socks for me. Like it was like that. Like I couldn't even
Oh,
have no mobility. Like I couldn't even turn my head, and like I remember people asking me questions and I would just be like, I'm like, I can't think right now. Like my brain was just gone. So I was
you're painting a hell of a picture.
yeah, at that point, I was just like a zombie. You know, I was like on like a robot. Like like I would, and then I had like a friend. Like as soon as I got to like a checkpoint, start a timer, and I would be like, and I would always tell him like, do not let me stay here longer than I like, you know. So like
Right.
as soon as as soon as like a time limit, like as soon as they expired, like she'd be like, you gotta go. So it was like I would drop everything and just keep going. Um,
What was like? What was your mental thought with that last mile? Like you knew that you were at the end. Like you knew you were finishing. Like what were some of the things that were going through your mind at that very very last mile?
um, I would say like in the last, I would say the last 10 miles, really.
Last 10. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I even got to like I was like a mile 90, and I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'm not gonna make it. And then for some reason, I got to this checkpoint, and then this guy was like, listen, he's like, you're mile 90, and he's like, what time did you start or whatever? And he's like, you have an hour and a half to run 10 miles to make the time that you want to make. And as soon as he said that, for some reason, it just like I just dropped everything. And then I told like my crew was there. They're supposed to meet me at the next checkpoint. So from that checkpoint to the finish line, it was like two more checkpoints. And I told them I was like, meet me at the finish line. Like I'm not stopping. Like this is it. Like
Oh
I
shit.
like when I started running, I took my little like hydration bag off because it had weight. I like dumped half of it because I knew it was gonna hold me down. I dumped half my water. Like I put it back on, and I was like this. I was like, do not go to the next. I'm like, meet me at the finish line. Like I will get there. Like it just like turned on. Like it was like a little switch, and I literally like I didn't stop at all for 10 miles. I just ran the whole fucking thing. And during that time while I was running, I was so hyper focused in my running. Like I rarely looked up. Like I was like looking down, and I was just looking at my feet, just like step by step. Like I was so hyper focused. I was like, I only looked up if there was like somebody in front of me, and I would just pass them. And like I just started passing all these people that were walking, and I remember passing like people that I would people that were way ahead of me. I remember passing them, and I remember like they were walking, and I started seeing people that I would like talk to, right? That I had spoken to throughout the race. Like while I was walking, I'll just hold a conversation with them, and they were just like they had like pacers with them, right? I remember this guy, like I don't know, someone was like yelling at him to like keep going, like and like yeah, I just like passed all these people, and I all I like
Literally took their fucking souls running right by them. Like just
yeah
literally they're looking up like, what the
like
fuck, this kid's running?
yeah. So it was like at mile 97, like nobody's running, you know, nobody unless you're like an extreme, like you do this every day, like you know, like nobody's running at mile 97. Like at most you're shuffling your feet, you know. But I
Yeah,
was
do a little granny
like
shuffle.
full on sprinting that bit, like and uh I had like IT band issues and like all this stuff, and I just like ignored it. I just like ignored it, and it just went away. It went away because I ignored it. You know, it was just like whatever. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and then all I kept thinking about was like, I did all this training, you know, I did all this work to just like stop, you know, like I kept visualizing myself finishing, like finishing the race, you know, getting my, like, they give you like a buckle. Actually, here it's like a buckle with. This is what you get, like a surprise. It's like a belt
Okay.
buckle, literally. And I kept, now I'm like, I kept visualizing myself finishing it, and then at the same time, I would visualize, or I would like try to get into the feeling of not finishing, right? And then I hated the feeling. As soon as I thought about not finishing, that feeling was something I was like, I'm not about to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not about to not finish this and feel this. So I immediately I would go back to the good feeling of finishing. And I'm like, that's how I'm gonna feel. Like, it's gonna happen. So I just kept going back and forth with those two feelings. And I was like, you know, like how do you want to feel when you finish? So one like just overpowered the other one. I just sprinted that whole thing.
That's that
Yeah.
will. That's that fucking will, man. Like that people don't understand when you tap into that part of your fucking brain that just says fuck you, let's go, instead of
Yeah.
listening to the side that's saying, listen, you've overworked, like let's take a quick little break, like
Oh
not trying
yeah.
to not trying to shit on that voice, because yes, sometimes you do need a break, but in moments when you need to be a fucking savage and you need to be a fucking animal, you
Gotta
need
do
to
it.
tap into that part of your brain that tells you fuck you, let's go.
Yeah. You know, you always like hear uh you always see and like hear YouTube videos of people of like, you know, like your mind can carry you a long way and like stuff like that. And I thought I knew what that meant, but you really don't. You actually are in that predicament where you have to rely on your mind to pretty much finish it for you, you know. And I'm like in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, this thing kind of hurts. Uh, but like, yeah, I was just like, I turned it to somebody else completely. Like it was just like when I finished it and I was finally in the car on the way home,
You
like
went to bed
I
with no regrets.
no, none. I was like, and when I was like going back home, I was trying to replicate or try to feel the way I was feeling in those last few miles, and I couldn't because that's just like a side of someone that only really comes out when you're in those really really dark situations. You know, it's not something you can just like, oh, let me just feel this way. Like no,
No, but now you've tapped into it. So now the fact that you're even able to tap into it now, like now you're gonna be able to learn how to tap into it again when you do the next one, and then eventually down the road when you are able to tap in, like it comes with years of experience. That's when you, and not to keep bringing the man up, but when Goggins isn't working out and he's screaming out, who's going to carry the boats. Like that's him going into that fucking state of just straight up savagery and just does not care and let's go. Like it's such a stereotypical thing that's to say about the man, but yeah, that's exactly what the fuck he's gone into that state. And if you're able to access that state, even just a simple thing as working out, it's
You
exactly like you're
want you
taming
really
that monster.
yeah, like after that race, man, like I'll be honest, like one of the reasons why I actually even went through it, I almost backed out. Just because of self-doubt. That was it. Self-doubt. I was like, maybe I was like, I didn't train enough. Uh, I'm not ready for it. I didn't cut the weight that I wanted to be the ideal weight that I wanted to run this race.
Yeah,
You
runner's
know,
weight.
all these excuses. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna do this thing. And that was one of the reasons why I did it in the first place. Just like I wanted to prove to myself that I can do these hard things, and and I had done the work to back that up. Um, so yeah, like when I finished it, like I burst into tears. And I can literally do whatever I want to do. It was just such a good feeling to
Because in reality, is you
see it
can,
through.
man. Like you can. It's just a matter of just tapping into your brain and just allowing yourself one to not only just feel your emotions, but allow yourself to feel them to the point that now you have control over them.
Yeah,
Consistently ignoring your emotions all the time and suppressing shit will literally lead to you in that stressful moment breaking down. Like
yeah, yeah, dude. For like the longest time, speaking of like emotions, this might even get a little deep, but for like the longest time, for the long like since I don't know, since like years, I just uh, ignored my emotions for a very long time, and
mhm.
I didn't really until like I just couldn't anymore. I couldn't just I couldn't hold emotions anymore. So for the longest time, up until recent, really, uh, I've let my emotions really get the best of me in a lot of situations. If it comes to like work or relationships with people, like I've lost a lot of friends, like because of the lack of control in my emotions. You know, uh, hopefully they don't hate me. I don't get that.
I've made the same mistakes though.
Yeah, yeah,
My anger's gotten the best of me at some points, and I am
yeah,
not acquainted with some people that I used to be.
yeah. But um, I didn't really actually learn to control them until like I started training for this run. You know, because there were some days where I would be very frustrated during the run, right? Because of something that had happened throughout the day, and I would like let it affect my run. So I wouldn't run what I needed to run, how I wanted to run it, because I was mad. I was mad at something. And then I would like the next day, where I would correct. I would be like, okay, like it doesn't matter how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, there's like in the moment, right now, that anger needs to be controlled so I can do what I have to do. You know, and it was the same thing during the race, right? I would feel upset, or like a thought would come through my mind, and I would like feel upset about it, but I would not, I did not let it affect how I was running, the way I was, of course, like um, besides the putting part, right? That's when it started to get when the emotions start to get the best, but then you correct those. Like I corrected them immediately. Nope, I'm not gonna feel this right now. Like I got to get this done. So controlling your emotions alone can get you, can get you in trouble. One, and
Hmm.
but can get you out of trouble too. So
And that's the most important part is that the getting out of trouble part, especially in a climate where you don't know what someone has on them at all times. Like you don't know if they have something and they lose their temper completely because you just lost your temper completely, and you're literally screaming over something that's so stupid. If you just calmed down and you talked about it, like it would have been something complete. It would have been solved, but instead things get too hot and then boom, someone gets shot. Like it's
Yeah,
something as simple as that.
yeah, man. Yeah, controlling your emotions is something that I'm still learning. Still learn. Of course, everyone's still learning, but
You never
I
not.
definitely,
It never stops. No matter what, no matter how old you get, you never stop learning how to control.
yeah, definitely. But I definitely have a better grasp on it now. Especially after like I keep going back to this run, but this run literally like changed my whole life.
I mean,
It
you
changed.
ran 100 miles in 18 fucking degree weather through terrain and all this like the mud, rain, shit. Like it's literally
Yeah,
a completely life changing race. It's not just a race; it's a life changing race because it makes you see things completely different at the other side.
yeah, man. And if you would have asked me like when I was in like high school or even a couple of years ago, like I was gonna do something like this, I would have told you like, man, fuck off. Like I'm not even gonna attempt that, you know. But but yeah, no, it was definitely it. The race did its job. Like like all the feelings I experienced during that race is exactly what I wanted to experience. You know what I'm saying? Like the self doubt is not something you want to experience, but in a way you do because you want to figure out how to overcome it. You know, so
You
like
literally took the words right out of my mouth. Literally.
way you do want to experience those things. It's like so like when I had self doubt, I was like, okay, like this is how I'm feeling. This is how I've been feeling for years. This is how I would like think about it. I'm like all this self doubt that you always have. Okay, if there's a time to grow from that or overcome that, it's right now. It's like right now, like mid race right now, and then you just got to do it. You just got to. And if you can do that, if I can do that in a run on such high stress levels, what? Why can't I do that? You know, casually hanging out with someone or just on my own. You know what I'm saying? If I can do it in high stress levels like that, I can do it in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
You
man.
definitely can.
But yeah, that was the race. It was insane. I definitely plan on doing a lot more. I think I'm gonna and fitness too. Fitness, like after that race,
Once you get into it, and if you develop a love for it, it just consumes you.
it's like a drug.
It's a positive drug. It's a positive addiction.
Yes, it is. Uh, I thought I knew about fitness before this run or before this training even, but I have grown a better, like I have a greater appreciation for my body, one, and fitness overall since this training and run. So uh, I never really took fitness serious. Like, um, like today I can
And
go.
it's still early enough. You're still so fucking young too. Like that's the best part about it. Is like you're still only 25. Like you're still perfectly in your prime, and this is like the best time to become completely aware of this state.
Yeah, like fitness levels. I'm. It's gotten to the point where I'm already thinking of what I'm gonna do next. You know, and I guess I'll tell you, but I plan on doing an iron.
Okay, guys. So just want to make you aware of about a sale that Origin Main slash Jocko Fuel is having for the remainder month of February. It is buy one get one 50% off. So meaning that if you buy a case of these, or if you buy one of these, or if you buy some of these, or if you happen to even buy some of these, or even some tea, it's buy one get one 50% off. So here's the reason I'm going to talk a little bit more about the products because I don't feel as if people really understand how impactful it is for your pocket to invest in Jocko Milk, especially. So, Jocko Milk is consisted of 4 different supplements basically combined into one. You have your essential amino acid blend, you have your digestive enzyme blend, then you also have the infusion with probiotics, and on top of that, it's a protein powder. So, if you're looking to spend money on separate product, like each one of those products separately, and a high quality product like that, you're looking to spend anywhere between a good 150 to $300 on the best quality products for each one of those, each individually, but purchased at one time, versus the 44.95 that you'll be paying for just one of these, and you're going to get an additional 10% off by using my code Welsh10. Not Welch's. Please don't put Welch, Welch. I'm not the grape juice company. WELSH10. Welsh10 will give you 10% off with the additional buy one, get one 50% off. So you're saving a little bit extra, plus you're also supporting me in the channel. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the episode. So we are back. Sorry about that. My internet decided to have an aneurysm. I don't know what the hell just happened, but anyway, continue on what you were saying, that you're really pursuing doing an Ironman.
Yeah, so that's my goal, to do it like around my birthday time in October time frame. But the reason,
train.
Yeah, definitely. The reason why I'm doing it though is because the first event in an Ironman is a swim, is a 2-mile swim. So I'm not too fond of swimming or water for that matter. It's crazy because I live in Hawaii.
Yeah, but motherfucker, you literally live on an island.
Yeah. If this island was like, if a tsunami came up, I'm dying. That's it. But yeah, I want to force myself to learn proper swimming technique. I want to force myself to get into the water, So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing it. So
overcoming the fear.
Yeah, it's something that I have to force myself to do. So that's what I'm aiming for next for a race. And I think I'm just gonna keep doing just like fitness challenges like that. It's pretty cool to have a goal in mind and something you work on. And it keeps you away from alcohol and all the stuff that
shit to hold you back. And especially in the fucking military, which I would do want to touch base a little bit on this, is how much alcohol, cigarettes, dip, and all this shit that's really Jesus Christ, fucking speak English, Welsh. Destructive towards the human body, and it's consistently pushed in the military.
Yeah, it's like a trend in the military for sure.
Yeah, and also to drink as many banks as possible.
That too. I'm guilty of that. So
it's same working the overnights, fucking stupid shit.
But yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing next, and I think I'm starting to take fitness extremely seriously, and which is a good feeling. So
you're at the perfect age to do this. Like I said before, you're at 25. Like there's still, like, you could do 25 years of this and your body would be still in like immaculate shape. Like these are positive addictions that are better for your, not only like your current well-being, but as well as the longevity factor as well. Like these habits are not only great for your physical being, but as well as your mental being as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely in a long-term spectrum of like being in the fitness community, especially in the running community. I want to get really deep in that community, which is a really welcoming community. Honestly, it's like nobody judges you on nothing. Speaking up, like when I first signed up for this race, I was like thinking to myself, is there anyone I can run with here that likes running like I do, or that I can get advice from, right? And I'm like, highly doubt it, because I don't see nobody running around. while I'm driving or nothing. And then, just by asking, just by simply asking, you know, I came across like a few like runners, and then they have like this whole like I guess it's not really it's like a clothing brand, but it's really like a lifestyle, and they're called like Tribe Hawaii. Uh, that's their Instagram. So if you ever want to get anyone wants to check them out, should. And it's not even just runners, like it's all different types of like athletes and stuff.
Right.
Like I know they have like a goal. They have like a few goals, right? They want to like climb Mount Everest, or like run the perimeter of like Guam, right? Just like extreme goals like that, which just entice me even more to do. Like I want to do those things, you know. But like their whole, Tribe Hawaii is like it's like it's like a community, right? So, but yeah, like the running community is like so welcoming, which I didn't think I would have outside the army. I can't even tell you. Speaking like going back to the army, it's like I don't miss the deployments and stuff like that. I just
Don't
miss
miss the bullshit, but you miss the people.
yeah, I miss the people that I used to see all the time. I used to be around all
Yeah.
the time. I can't tell you how lonely it felt. It felt very lonely when I left that lifestyle completely.
Yeah, and you just fucking set yourself up in Hawaii, someplace where you just said, "Fuck
Yeah,
it, I'm gonna live here."
yeah. Like even moving here was so sporadic. I just moved here just to get away from things, and like restart and reflect, and just off of that, there was no other reason for it. Like I don't have no family here. Like I have a housemate now, which he's in the army. Luckily, I knew him. Yeah, yeah. So luckily, I knew him from Fort Hood, Texas, um,
Oof.
and he just happened to be stationed here. So have a roommate, whatever. But but yeah, like other than like a few, and then of course like I really honed into like photography here. So I'm like the photography community here is also good. So it felt nice to be a part of communities like that again.
It's two communities that you could bind together. Literally, you go on runs and take pictures. Like that's something that you could. It's literally two things you could do at the same time, and you have a
Yeah,
genuine love for the two of them.
yeah. It's funny. It's funny that you say that though, because I was talking to someone about after my run, like usually when I set a goal, that's all I think about. Like I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. So like after this run, I finished and I'm sitting there and I'm like now what? Like what am I doing now? You know? Um, and it's usually like that for I don't know. I can't really think too long term because you know I just can't do that.
I really don't think anybody should think too long term. Just because it's enough stress that you already have daily, you don't need to put yourself in additional stress on shit that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not really I'm not really a structured person, to be honest with you. I don't like it. I like being flexible with my life. Like if I want to move to Alaska, I'm gonna do it. You know, and that's it. For as long as I can, right? If I happen to have like children and stuff, completely different story.
Oh yeah,
But
but no, but you're young. You're
yeah,
not married. You don't have any kids. So live up your fucking lifestyle. Like live up your life. Do what you want to do.
yeah, and I'm comfortable with it, right? I'm comfortable with unpredictability and flexible, right? Like I'm comfortable I'm comfortable moving somewhere and not being guaranteed an income. Like I will figure it out. So I just know myself enough to just be comfortable with that. And I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out when I get there.
See now, and that's another mentality that is not really seen too often nowadays. Especially, people want that handout. People want that, that friend. Hey, listen, my friend's got a job opportunity for you if you want to do this instead of going out like no. Every single job that I've got, for the most part, there's only been one or two jobs that I would say I was not handed to, but I still had to do the interview and everything for. It wasn't just hey, just show up and do the job. But every job, including the one I'm currently, including my personal training career, was working with Unique Fitness. It it's like I completely understand what you say, the structure part, because all my other jobs when they were 9 to 5s, I couldn't fucking do it. I was
And they're
either late, I was either wanting to leave early, calling out, just knowing the next day I would have to show up at the very exact same time and doing the exact same shit in the exact same building. Like, if I'm gonna do that, I'd rather do something I'm passionate about and have a little bit more control over. Like this personal training thing, it's not that I'm just set 9 to 5, as much as I would love to be, because that's a pretty penny with with personal training, especially. But and having each one of those hours be actual clients and classes, but different story. But having the schedule I have now and having the freedom, like of having wanting to like leave work if I need to leave work, and I could come back later and take another class, like being your own, not essentially being your own boss, but it's just like having your own control. Like it's knowing that you don't have to, especially in the business of like clientele. Like I'm sure you can attest to it with your photography clients when it's like they need a flexible time, like if 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, or need to schedule for a different day, but just still knowing you're still gonna get the same pay, but it's just gonna be at a different time. Like it's just having that comfort and knowing that you're still in control technically.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I can't even tell you how many times, like, I've had photo shoots like being canceled on me last minute, or you know, someone either not showing up late, to something.
Not showing up to a fucking photo shoot. What a dick.
Yeah, it's just the
I've had it
nature
happen
of.
to me with nobody personal training, but I understand. My shit's intimidating. But like you're for a photo shoot, really?
Yeah, I mean, it happens, right? And it's just the nature of the work, it's just, which I don't mind. Like, I don't mind it. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. As long as it doesn't happen to me every day, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the nature of the work, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with the flexibility. It's nice to have the flexibility, but with all of that comes the cons of it all, which is you don't really know. You don't really have a schedule where it's like for sure for a fact that you have a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but I'm comfortable with that. That's fine with me. Which is
Because if anything, it
completely,
makes you hustle harder.
yeah, definitely. It makes you want to get better, which is completely different from the military, which is like,
Wake up
very
5 a.m. PT, then go to chow, then come back and shower, then go on some other fucking day and just do the same fucking day every day.
yeah. I mean, and I don't want to bash like active duty, right? Because it did me a lot of good too. Um, yeah, I wouldn't even be the person I am now without it, really. Um, like
Some people do definitely do need it. Like you need a little humbling and a kick in the ass, and no better way than to join fucking active duty service because you get your ass kicked, or just join the
yeah,
military in general. It's some part of the military.
yeah. I mean, I know for me, I needed a lot of like harsh lessons to be put in front of me in order for me to grow as a person, and there was no better way of doing that than joining the military. Uh, like immediately, immediately after I joined, like not even a year later, I deployed to Iraq. I was 18, 18 in Iraq, and I'm like,
You did both Iraq and Afghanistan. Fuck.
yeah, I deployed
And
to Iraq.
just your 6 years. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. So I deployed to Iraq from September 2016 to 16, no, 15. So from September 2015 to June 2016. So it was like 10 months almost. And then, 18 years old in Iraq, right? So I learned so much in those 10 months. And then, a year later, not even a year later, I deployed to Afghanistan for another 9 months. Did my time there, and then came back for a year or so, and then deployed again to Afghanistan for 2 years. So, and
God.
that was pretty much my whole career. I did not spend too much time in the U.S. at all. I literally I thought about the U.S. as like a vacation. Like at some point, like I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going. Like the desert was my home, and I'm just going back to the States to like not
Or,
mentally,
yeah,
you know. Uh,
in a complete opposite career. I was supposed to deploy a couple different times, and then I ended up fucking staying stateside.
yeah, I mean, hey, everyone is different. Like I know a lot of my friends are still in now that have yet to deploy once, and I'm like, well, in a way,
And then here you are, fucking 6 years into a contract, and you're asked to deploying 3 times.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I got out as well. Um, I just like for some reason the army just loved deploying me. They loved it, uh, and I just wanted my life to slow down. Like I couldn't do nothing at all. Like I would come back, you know, try to have like relationships or try to like grow uh, as a person here, and I just didn't have the time. I would just like come back and before I even put anything together, I'm gone again, you know. And it was just, and then once I'm there, I'm like hyper focused on what I'm doing there, and yeah,
Because you
but
have to be. When you're, especially in that environment, you're trained to be on your toes at all times. You're trained to go into a state of mentally that you literally have to look at a can in the middle of the road as a possibility that thing could fucking kill you.
yeah, man. Like Iraq, it was definitely in like an eye opener for me because you know, I went to Iraq in 2015. I had just only graduated high school the year before that, so all I ever knew was like Brentwood, right?
You're the fresh shit private that everybody
I'm like,
wanted. That fucking was fresh meat for the
uh,
NCOs
E
and
E1,
fucking E4 Mafia.
E1, E2, whatever, and I'm in Iraq. God knows what I'm doing. I'm in my mind. I'm like, it was a complete shock, complete shock. I was just like, holy shit, like, what am I doing? You know? And, but then when I came back from Iraq, it was pretty bad for me actually, like depression wise, and just overall like anxiety. Like I just like my mind was just so young. I came back and just didn't know what to do. Like you know, I'm over
Yeah,
here. I'm over here 19 years. No, at this point, it's like I'm about to be 19. I'm over here, you know, with like all this money in my bank account. Like I don't even know what to do with it. No discipline with money whatsoever. You know, I'm like just throwing money away, literally on like alcohol. You know, alcohol. I was like drinking my ass off almost every single day. Uh, you
yep,
know,
yep.
yeah, buying all this like expensive stuff that I rarely touched. Um, and
Started
then
realizing the older that you get that these fucking pieces of material items just only feed nothing but just your sorrow.
yeah, yeah, man, it had like nothing, and it had no effect on me whatsoever because I was still depressed. I rarely left. So like in I rarely left like my room when I was like a private. When I came back from Iraq, right? Like people had to force me to get to like see the sun. You know, like I was like forced me to eat. I had friends that were trying to force me to eat because I just didn't want to eat because I felt fat. Like I had all these insecurities just came in, like, and then it started to be a problem. People at work would see me, and every time they saw me, I would be like 10 pounds lighter, and it'd be just like a week right now. You know, like a week, you don't lose 10 pounds in a week. Healthy.
No,
You know,
not definitely not healthily. You
no,
don't lose it healthy
yeah,
wise.
it's not gonna happen. So I'm like over here, 19 years old, dropping all this weight, and people are like, someone needs to talk to this kid. You know, so that was the first time I was pretty much forced to go see like a therapist, and you know, like I didn't even know what to say. Like they were just asking me questions, and I'm just like talking, you know, and it didn't really. I'll be honest with you, like that first initial like time going to a therapist, it had zero effect on me whatsoever. Because one, I didn't really know what I was doing because I was forced to be there. So in my mind, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, why am I here? So like, you know, you can. like when you try to help someone, if they don't,
as everybody is when they're first getting into therapy.
Yeah, like if you yourself or someone else doesn't see the problem, you can't help. You know, if you do not see the problem that you have, you can't be helped. You have to first like accept and realize what the issue is. You know, and for me at that point, at that time, there's nothing wrong whatsoever. You know, that's my mentality. What am I doing? So I'm like there's like a wall right there between me and my therapist. So I didn't do nothing at all. Right. And I just, time went by and then boom, I deployed again. Right. I deployed again and I was like, oh, cool. I'm about to make more money. Awesome. And then this time around, I was a little more senior. Right. So they, even though I had all these personal issues, like I still had a good work ethic. Right. I was a good worker. I was a good worker bee. Like I would sit somewhere or go somewhere and I wouldn't leave until it was done. I was a good follower for sure. I was a very good follower. Like I was very good at listening. I was told to do something, I would do it. Right. So like this time going in, having all those prior experiences, they, my team kind of relied on me a little more than before, obviously. Like I knew nothing. So, this time going in, I was more involved in the work, right? I got to see more of why I was actually there, right? Because as like a brand new soldier or whatever or service member, you don't really know the why. You just do it. Right? You just do it because they told you so. Like that's it. Right. But this time around, I'm like, okay, it was a little more appreciation and as to why I was there, what I was doing. So I was more understanding. And then, but mind you, all this like work that I was doing, I still had all these personal issues. So as time went on, as those months went by, some of the soldiers there, it was their first time deploying, right? So, and they're very young as well, just like I was. And I didn't really have these issues in theater. I didn't have these issues in Iraq or in Afghanistan. They came about after the fact, like back here at home. So while I was there this time around, all these soldiers were having all these like suicidal thoughts, right? We had a soldier kill himself. And yeah, I had like a very close friend try to kill himself too. And we're really close now, like one of my best friends now. So yeah, so that kind of affected me too, because I knew I had those thoughts, but I was able to control it more than these guys. But those feelings, that energy kind of rubs off on you, right? So I started seeing a therapist there in Afghanistan. And from that point, I was more open to letting out my emotions, right? I was more open. I was a little more mature then, right? Now I'm like 21, 22-ish, right? So I'm a little more mature. So I was able to be vulnerable with people and I wasn't ashamed of it. I still, maybe a little bit, but I was able to be more open. So now I knew I had a problem. So like the second time going to Afghanistan, it was more of a emotional challenge more than anything. The first one was kind of just like the initial shock of it. The first one was just, I'm like, oh, like I'm really out here.
Like, holy shit, I'm in Afghanistan.
Yeah. And then, so this second time, it was more an emotional roller coaster, really. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself and deployment. So, but when I came back, instead of being forced for help, I went myself. So,
and then you appreciated the help a little bit more versus when you were when being told that you need help versus, yeah, I think I need some help. I'm gonna go get some help.
Yeah, so I got help on my dime this time. I'm like, it was my choice to do it. So it was completely different this time. Going to the same clinic, it was completely different. So yeah, that was like literally my time in the States and deploying was literally like that my whole career. Like I would experience stuff, I would come back, somebody completely new, not by choice. It just over time.
Just did what you were told to do.
Yeah, just over time, I just like grew differently. Like yeah, it was just So the third time, now that we're talking, now we're balls deep into like military talk, but the third time around, this time, I was supposed to get out of the Army completely right before this third deployment, right? But the reason why I didn't was because I wanted to get promoted to like an NCO. And I was like, I had done all this work to get promoted, and I would miss promotion by points, because it's like a point system to
Yeah,
get promoted.
yeah.
So I would miss it by like 1 or 2 points, and it was like every month I would miss it. And my counselor, like my career counselor in the Army, they were like, well, you came on orders to go to Kuwait as a duty station. And I'm like, I had just gone, I found out I had orders to go back to Kuwait the same week I got back from Afghanistan. Like
Yeah, that's a literal major middle finger to your face, right? What?
Yeah. And then the career counselor was like, you either sign a declination statement or you go to Kuwait. And declination statement, basically, I'm ending my career at that point. I wouldn't get promoted. I'm pretty much just waiting it out until my contract is up to get out. Right. That's like a declination statement.
Oy.
So, and I'm like, this is not about to happen to me right now. Like I was about to get promoted, right? And like I was like trying to fight it, and I just couldn't. I couldn't delete orders at all. Like the Pentagon said, you're going to fucking Kuwait. And I'm like, it's either that or you're getting out the Army by force, and you're not getting promoted. So I extended my contract to meet the time to go to Kuwait. Now I had the time to get promoted, so I got promoted. Right. So that was the whole reason. I just wanted to get promoted. Like I'm like, oh no, I'm like, I worked my ass off to just like stay a junior soldier. I'm like, this is not what's happening. So I got promoted in the States, deployed as an NCO now, and I get to Kuwait. Well, let me backtrack. But while all this was going on, I knew the unit I was going to because I had worked. At this point, I'm like I knew Afghanistan and Iraq more than I knew the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at this point, I'm like I can go into Kuwait, Qatar, Afghanistan, and I will tell you exactly where to go. Like right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need a map. I don't need nothing. I will literally drive there, walk there by memory. That's how much I know those places.
Motherfucker forgot Brentwood, but he remembers Afghanistan streets.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but hey, it is what it is, right? So at this point, I already know the unit, right? At this point, it's like 2018, right? And then I know the unit that I'm going to because I worked with them. I knew the leadership because I had just been there,
Yeah.
I had just been there. Like I knew where I was going. I knew exactly where I was going. And I was like, I don't want to go there. I didn't want to stay in Kuwait because I was supposed to just stay in Kuwait, the country Kuwait, for a year. And in Kuwait, you don't do much. That's like a duty station.
It's barely even classified as a deployment.
It's not at all. Like it's not. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to a desert, I want to make it worth it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to go do work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So, and then I talked to my to my battalion commander, and then which he loved me, right? Because as soon as I came back from Afghanistan, the second time, I like I wanted more responsibility. Like I was just tired of mediocre work, right? I
Right.
was just and then at that point I was just frustrated that I wasn't getting promoted, right? And I just wanted to do something else. So I was like, okay, can I do this? Can I do that? My leadership was like, no, no, no. You can't. You're not fast enough. You know what I'm saying? You're not.
Oh, the fucking running, man. If there's anything besides actually focusing on the fucking mental health in the military, is take away the fucking 2 mile run. There's no purpose for that shit. Just like the sit-ups, there's no fucking purpose for them. They're not the ultimate test of your fucking hip flexors. It ain't bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And then also the fucking 2 mile run. It have the soldier carry the fucking X bar deadlift all the way across the fucking like the field. Don't like have them actually carry in full gear, like actual shit that is going to be needed in fucking combat. God forbid if they go see combat, like the simple shit like that. That's how you test the PT for a soldier, not fucking push up, sit ups, or this other bullshit they got for the ACFT.
Yeah, I mean, the new test is a little better than the old one. I mean, it could be better, but it's. I mean, it's fine. But
Some of the things I just don't like about it.
I'm surprised they kept the 2 mile run. I thought it was gonna be less than that, but they kept that.
Reason one.
Nope, you're running. You're running.
Yeah, after all the other obstacles you got to fucking through, now you got to run 2 miles.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
So yeah, so yeah, I got all these excuses as to why I couldn't do something, right? And then I was like doing something. I was like talking to somebody and to my supervisor or something, and then my E8, my first sergeant, he was like, "Hey, the colonel and the sergeant major need a new driver, right? Like a new driver, like something." I was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "Just to get me out of here." Yes, get me out of here. So I did that. So from when the time I got back from Afghanistan, by the time I got back to Afghanistan, so my second deployment, from 2017 to the beginning of 2018, that was pretty much what I did. Like I worked directly for my battalion command team, you know, doing all that. So by the time I got orders to Kuwait, I spoke to my sergeant major and then my colonel, and I was like, hey, and then I was like, can I just go to this unit that's still a part of the same unit, but just at a different location in Qatar, right? In Qatar, in the country Qatar. So my sergeant major was like, he's like, actually, I know who's about to take command of that unit. He's like, let me go talk to him. And, you know, he talked to that leadership. So by the time I got to Kuwait, I had new orders to go from Kuwait to Qatar. So now I got myself out of Kuwait, right? So now, and that was only because of work ethic, right? They're like, oh, this guy's good, like, I had like leadership vouch for me, this guy was good in your unit. So I go to Qatar. I get to Qatar, and at that point, right, I'm like, okay, this is cool, kind of. But I knew in that battalion in Qatar, there was a company that was in Afghanistan, stationed in Afghanistan, basically, right? And I was like, I want to go there. Like, I was like, I want to, because I guess in my mind, I'm like, okay, like a few months ago, Qatar went by, I was like, I'm bored here. I feel like I can do more. You know what I'm saying? Like I spoke to like leadership. I was like, I can do more. Like I know way more than this. I can be used way better than this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no. They're like, we need someone here that has like some sense. Right. And then, I'm like,
oh fuck.
I'm like, at this point, I'm like 23. I'm 23, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, wait, you have like all these senior guys. What are you talking about? And immediately I found what they were talking about. They were just, it was a whole bunch of rank, but no leaders at all.
Uh-huh.
You know,
And that's the prime
there were,
reason why I didn't resign a contract.
yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a few that were really good, right? There were a few that were really good, but they were either like, they would push them to Afghanistan or somewhere else or give them another job, but they wouldn't do that to me, right? Because they just viewed me as like a new leader,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they were like, "You're staying here because you can hold it down here," and so that's what I did for months. I just like I like did. I was starting like all the new soldiers that would come out of like basic training. That was like the first duty station for some of them. Uh, of course, their physical fitness was like complete shit because they I don't know what they do at basic training now. Just kind of sign off of shit. They don't actually care how fit they are or how smart they are. I don't know. But I'm just like talking. You're in the army, like you need to go back to school. You need to go to the gym. You need to go do something. I'm sorry, but so yeah. So I started. So I was doing like remedial PT, right? So like I would like train the soldiers that needed additional physical fitness training. I would like get up at 3 a.m. to do PT with them, and then since no leader wanted to conduct actual PT for the company, I would immediately do that. And like
Oh my god! Oh
this
my
stuff,
god!
all of this stuff. Right?
Oh.
So I'm like working my ass off, at this in Qatar, and I'm like, I'm wasting. I'm like, this is cool and all, but I want to do other shit, like I want to go to Afghanistan, right? And then I think what finally convinced them to let me go was like, it was like, I had stopped doing, so like my supervisor, he came up to me at some point and he's like, I need you to stop doing my job. Um, and I was like,
Oh.
what do you mean? Like I had a huge argument with this guy. I was like, what do you mean? Like, if I'm doing your job, that means you're doing something. It means you're not doing your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not intentional. Like, if I'm doing this because I see the lack of it, right? So, and then I was like, okay. I was like, after a conversation with a few of them, actually, I was like, okay, I will step back. So that's right. And then he started doing or trying to do the things that I was already doing, and he completely sucked at. And then
So the people
my
are just not meant to be leaders.
yeah, definitely. And then my command team comes from Afghanistan, the Afghanistan command team. And like they look at the PT calendar and like all this stuff, and the sergeant major was like, "Who did this garbage?" He's like, "Who instructed this garbage? Who put this up on? Who put this in black and white in writing and put it on the wall? This is completely garbage." And I was like, "It's not me. That's my boss that did that." And pretty much like my leadership like bought he told me to come into the office and stuff. He looked my boss in the face and he was like, "You suck." He's like why is he doing your job? And then that pretty much convinced them, to bring me to Afghanistan. So then I went from Kuwait to Qatar to put myself right back to Afghanistan. All because really of my work ethic, really.
Yeah.
So now, yeah. So then I just spent the rest of my time there, doing what I wanted to do with like soldiers and next stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but then of course COVID and all that. Like I ended up staying there longer than I anticipated. That third time was completely different. I definitely took control of a lot of my last few years in the army, uh, in that last tour in Afghanistan, because I just knew that I could. I was like, okay, Like I've learned enough. I've learned enough from good leaders and bad leaders to know what to do and not to do. So yeah, so I was just in Afghanistan for 19 months, so almost 2 years. Yeah.
See, the thing about leadership, it's not taught. Some people are just meant to be born leaders. Other people are meant to be the followers of those leaders. I had some pretty bad experiences with my old unit as far as leadership wise when I needed to vocally talk about some things, and as soon as I talked about it, basically got like blacklisted, black flagged, and then like outcasted basically. So it was when my time to resign came. My first sergeant asked me, you know, you shoot good and you need some pretty decent PT. We could still use you. You know, you're more than welcome to resign. And even then, I like it was just like such like a fake talk. Like it's like yeah, like just seeing in the eyes. It's like I don't give a shit whether or not you're here or not. It's just sign a contract or get the fuck out of my office. Is basically what it looked like and sounded like. So I basically took the vibe and I ran with that. And gratefully that like I got it. I'm grateful I got out when I got out, just because the amount of bullshit that I really see behind, like as far as the toxic leadership, the consistently heavily pushing a, I want to say the negative narrative around mental health, like that the stereotypical man up.
Yeah.
Like in certain situations, you physically can't fucking man up. Like no matter how much you want to, no matter how much you want to literally like pull the savage out of you, there are some days where if you have depression, if you have anxiety, like you're literally crippled by these things. And the military has a very hard time fully understanding that. Do I think it's getting better? Yes, I do think in some parts of the military it is getting better. But as overall judgment in the military, both people who are in and out, veterans wise, also, it could be better. There's just so much work that needs to be done for people who are suffering from PTSD, people who are suffering from depression, people who are just suffering overall, who can't sit by themselves in their own beds at night without fucking screaming or crying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used to be like that too. When I first got to Hawaii, man, like I was a mess. Like
I can imagine you did fucking 19
I would
months in Afghanistan.
I would walk. I would not walk. I would drive. Um, I would like drive just casually driving somewhere, and I would have to stop just to breathe because I would get anxious just driving. Or like luckily in the few times that I had someone next to me, I would just like I would have to tell them to like stop talking to me, or just be like or just zone out, right? And then they would see me like just break down in my car while I'm driving for no reason whatsoever. And it was just because of that. And then sometimes at night, I would like when I first got here, I would like scream in my sleep, uh, like wake up sweating, like the whole bed would be soaked. Uh, I would like get up in the middle of the night and just walk around my apartment because I just couldn't sleep. It was bad.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, and luckily I'm like past that now. But I still go to therapy. I still get anxious and stuff, but I have better control over it.
Here's the thing about therapy too. It's okay to go to therapy when you're even in your best states. Like
Oh
even
yeah,
if you're in a good state, like no matter, you don't have to be in a shit zone. You don't have to be at rock bottom to go to fucking therapy every time.
I went yesterday. Literally yesterday. Yesterday was my I went to therapy yesterday. Uh, yeah, and it was all I did was talk about my race. Just just to let just to let some stuff out. Just it was, and I'm not in like crisis or nothing. Just want to talk. So
No,
that's good enough sometimes, for sure.
Dude, overall though, just like not being in contact with you really overall, like it probably the last time we really like talked like and like really associated with each other because after the freshman center, the fucking everybody goes their own ways eventually from the north side, and
Yeah.
that's just all the sides of Brentwood. But it was like either health class, not health class, home ec with Miss Shapiro, or yeah, it was, yeah, because I remember we were doing the stupid shit when we were doing those pillows. I would slam my hand on the needles to make my hand like to see how fuck the dumbest fucking things as kids. But it's crazy to see just how far you've come personally as just a kid from Miss Fria's class, sitting uh me and you were the ones getting bullied by people every now and then. Like it
Yeah.
was yeah,
Yeah.
like it was
I mean, I was a like I was a timid kid. I
yeah, we were
was
both were. We were easy to get. We were easy targets for people.
I was very very scared, very self conscious. Just everything, just everything bad that you can possibly think of yourself. That's exactly what I thought all the
Yeah,
time.
prime targets for bullies for people to come attack you when you're in that state.
Yeah, for sure. So it definitely like followed me for a very long time. Even in my 20s, it still kind of followed me, and it still
Yeah.
does. It still comes up in my head sometimes. It's
You'll be
like
surprised. Like a lot of things from therapy, I find, because like that has allowed me to find was some of the shit really does stick from your childhood. Like you don't
oh
realize some of the things that you do like are really impacted from your time as a child.
yeah, um, yeah. They follow you, man. And they start becoming more in your face as you get older because yeah, there's like as a kid, the consequences are not that serious, right? So now, as an adult now, those those like those feelings that you have or those events that happened to you as a kid, when they appear now as an adult, the consequences are more severe. So it's like they're in your face. So yeah, you have to, yeah, you just because or else you just can't continue. Literally, you will not continue your life until you address them, or you
Absolutely.
or if you don't address them, you just get stuck where you are forever.
hmm
Yeah,
And I could tell you right now, there's a lot of people our age who are stuck, who
yeah,
cannot get up, who cannot get out.
yeah. I'm sure there's people that we know they're like that. I hope they find the will to somehow get out of it, right?
Even
But
if it
that's
just means doing
that's
something completely different out of your schedule, like trying something completely new, sucking at something and then making it better.
yeah. This it's a lot of self sac. You have to do a lot of sacrifice for sure. A lot of self reflection with people, which people are just scared of doing in general.
hmm
But
People
yeah,
want to stay in their comfort zone. They want to stay in their bubble, and people are
yeah,
terrified to leave that bubble. But people don't realize that once you leave that bubble, you get comfortably uncomfortable. That's something I say to my clients a lot is that you get comfortable being uncomfortable because now now that you're in that state of being uncomfortably comfortable, like you find that comfort no matter how uncomfortable or how stressful the situation gets, you become that now that beam of light in like a god forbid like if a fucking fire breaks out, you're that person who can think a little bit more clear and you can pull yourself away, like look for the exits, like instead of just immediately panicking and looking at the flames and wanting to fucking run away, you're able to think a little bit more calmer, you're able to look around the areas, analyze the situation, and then see where the exit is and lead everybody out there, point the direction, scream out it's over here, like it's
yeah, yeah.
I,
I mean, that's like something, and that's something I didn't really realize until it actually happened to me. Right? It's just like going back to like the Afghanistan thing, and then here at home too. But like in Afghanistan, like I worked with civilians, right? Like just normal contractors over there. And then like some really young soldiers, like 18, 19-year olds, right? And like I wasn't the smartest, right? But you can bet your ass that every single one of those people that I work with they knew that if a situation, like if a situation appeared or popped up, like I would figure it out for the group. You know what I'm saying? Like they just knew if I'm around, it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? It'll be okay. And that feeling was something, because of like insecurities or whatever, it was something that I didn't know how to take. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't even say thank you. I was like, okay, I was like, okay, but
Yeah.
but that was something new too. It's like, and it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling to know that you're that type of person that people can rely on.
Yeah, because
Which,
now no matter what, you can also rely on yourself. That's the
yeah,
best part about it, is that you don't have to rely on anybody else but yourself.
right, right. And then, it's like, and then it kind of puts a little pressure on you too, just keeps you on the edge a little bit, to not fall off that wagon too much. Like,
Absolutely.
and going back to that too, like back to the like controlling emotions as well. Like obviously I have like really close friends here, and so the other day, not the other day, but maybe like 2 months ago, like a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you're usually the person that," I was like in a really bad, I was like going through some stuff where I was like really down first, even like the running. It was like at this point, it was like, like what I was talking about earlier, like I was like constantly frustrated for a while. So like I was demotivated in running and stuff, right? I was like falling off my diet for a little bit. And this was like December. So it wasn't even that long ago. And that's the thing too about like mental health and stuff like that. It's not completely smooth all the time.
It never will be.
It never
And it
is.
never will be.
So like I'll be good for months, and then all of a sudden I just have like a bad month, bad week, whatever. Right. But it was around this bad month, I would say. Yeah, my friend came up to me. He's like, um, I don't recognize you right now. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not the usual person that I know. So, and by that, he meant like usually I'm the one that knows what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So like when he said that, I was like, okay, so I'm like, especially like if it's a close friend that you see most of the time, like if someone like that tells you that, it's like something's like up, right? So you're like they won't lie to you, so you're like, okay, like something is up. So yeah, like, and that was like another confirmation. Okay, like people rely on that type of energy sometimes. So like you, in a way, you kind of you don't want to let people down or yourself down too. So that kind of helps you as well, like get better, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like I have sisters too. Like I'm the only male. I have 4 sisters. I'm the only male, and I'm the
Yeah.
oldest. And I'm the oldest,
Oh, so
right?
you're definitely a protector.
Yeah, I am. I protect, and then like that's just like a natural thing. So like I automatically have this like feeling, right, that basically like you gotta, like I have to be an example, right? Like if I want my sister, to date a douchebag, then I'm gonna go ahead and be a douchebag, right? But like I want my sister to date someone and be like, if they're not like my brother, I'm not dating them. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like,
Yeah.
so that
Setting
kind
an
of make,
example, like showing them like how to be like what a man is versus what a fuckboy is.
yeah. So like what he's supposed to be. So in that way, it kind of keeps me straight as well, right? It kind of keeps me like, if like, what would my sister think?
Like
How
if
I'm,
my sister brought home a guy who was like this right now, what would I be doing? Like what would my reaction be?
yeah, like what would my, or in relationships too, like what would my sister think of how I'm treating this woman right now? You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
how I'm treating. So don't get me wrong, I mess up all the time, right? But it's,
Everybody does.
yeah, but it forces you to have to be disciplined in that. So
Yeah, it forces you to have accountability.
yeah,
Hold yourself to your own actions and be disciplined to staying on the right path.
yeah, sure. Accountability is just a big thing too.
Nobody wants
Like
to own their own shit.
yeah, accountability is like a big thing, man. Like it's easy, it's so easy to point fingers of like so easy. Like, oh, I got mad
Mm-hmm.
person. I got mad because she did this or he did that. Or, just pointing fingers. It's so
You got
easy to do.
mad because you have a low tolerance of people around you, and you're just some healing that you didn't do, and obviously they hit a trigger that you allowed yourself to get angry and spew some hatred words.
Yeah, exactly. But really it's all on you for almost everything. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sometimes it's pretty scary too. Just by the way you feel and think, the world just like reflects that. It reflects.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, man, that's that's how I keep myself motivated, just by thinking about like my sisters and my close friends like that. So it
That's some
works.
positive motivation.
Yeah, bro. Um,
Well, overall, brother, man, listen, this has been wow. I really can't believe it's already been almost 2 hours.
oh, yeah.
That flew right by. But listen, just first off, just I'm incredibly proud of you, just because you set the example of what our class, our graduating class, really can be. Because I know that there's plenty of people that do actually listen, and I'm appreciative that they listen to this podcast, that are and I am speaking to them when I say that, like, there are some of the people that are still stuck and lost. It's You're still so fucking young. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary of high school, but we're not on our 50th anniversary. Like, they're not on our 30th, not even on our 20th. Like, this is just 10 years, and there's in the amount that's changed in these 10 years.
yeah.
it,
So
the next 10 years, imagine that now.
yeah, exactly. It's the next 10 years. I won't even be the person I am now. Hopefully better, but
Yeah.
the fundamentals still stay the same, right? So
If your goal at the end of the day is still to be better than you were yesterday, you're doing something right, or you're thinking something right. And it's just a matter of now calling out, whether it be your laziness, or whether it be excuses, whether it be the minor thing of just trying to even get out of bed, holding yourself accountable, but not too accountable, not pointing out every flaw, but pointing out the stuff that you can fix to become a better person. These are all things that you can do right now that literally will set the tone for the rest of this year. We're already in February. We're already about to be in fucking March. Like, it's the 18th right now. We're a week and a half, a week into a change and some change from already being 3 months into 2022. And if you haven't done anything this year that is worth of a challenge, that's worth of change, that's worth of making something useful of your time, take this time now from here on to look for that time.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't even have to be something major. It doesn't even have to be something crazy. It could be
Like,
something
run an
small.
ultra marathon.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, but like, I'll give you an example. Like right now, from like speaking like from this like December time frame where I had like that little down period. Uh, I picked myself up by doing something that I was never consistent of, which I have been consistent with, and just that's just writing in a journal. Uh, I just
It
write,
involves no physical effort other than just writing.
just write in a journal, and I actually have like this poetry page on like Instagram, and it turned into that. You know what I'm saying? It just turned into another hobby, like just me writing. And uh, but yeah, it could literally be something small like that, and it could change like you completely.
One of the things I talked about in my last podcast with Jennifer Paraglia, 2 podcasts ago, actually, just saying thank you when you wake up in the morning, just saying thank you for another day, like, for whatever you believe, whatever you have as your God or whatever you may worship, whether it be, or even if you don't worship anything, if you're an atheist, just waking up to say thank you to yourself that you're alive another day to do something better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good to thank yourself. Uh, Sometimes I even have like these periods where I randomly like message. I'm not the best person to communicate. Like I will go months without talking to people. Like it's pretty bad, which I'm working. But sometimes I will get up and I will simply just send a message to my close friends like thanks for just being around. You know what I'm saying? Just because I wake up grateful that day. Or like I try to thank myself and my body for even allowing me to do the strenuous stuff that I like doing, you know, and like think like the stuff that you do every day. Like I think photography, everything. Like I think photography, we didn't really speak too much of it, but I think photography kind of like saved my life. You know what I'm saying? It's literally saved my life, I think. And so yeah, man.
So real quick, shout out your Instagram and also shout out your poetry page and your photography page, like
Oh,
everywhere where people can find you.
yeah. So my personal page is on there. It's on my Instagram, but my poetry page is called Writings for You. Uh, I have stopped writing because of this run, but I will continue. I actually will post one tonight. And yeah, you can follow that. It's kind of a new page. And then my photography page is called Photos and Feelings, right? And the reason why, and I have feelings that's like PHEA, right? As in like the word healings in it is in there, and then also is pronounced feelings. I had
I love
someone,
that. No, I love that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I don't. And initially, I didn't really understand why I picked that, and then I had someone ask me, and I told them I don't know, and I've been thinking about it since, and it's just like what allowed. Like I usually don't post much of myself on that page, but I did for my marathon, and that kind of what allowed me to do that was because that's exactly what it was, right? Like I I took photos of how I felt and how I healed in that run, right? So that's exactly why I came up with the name in the first place. So yeah, that is so like the person that asked me that question sees this. That's why I found the reason.
That's why. But brother, man, I appreciate your time, and then I appreciate this catch up. You know, definitely gonna have you on here again to talk a little bit more. You know, especially if you're getting ready for your next runs and all these other things that you're going on, especially after your Ironman. When you complete that, I definitely want to have you on about that to talk about your swimming experience.
Yeah,
But
oh, man.
overall, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you got going on. And, you know, you're definitely motivating. You're somebody that people in our graduating class should be looking up to, because you're not only did you serve your time in the military, but now you're also pursuing passion and you're going to school at the same time now that you're done. Right? Those
Yeah,
are big steps.
there's no time limit. There's like no certain time as to when you can and can't do something. You can literally pick up something at any point. So like at any
And if you're
point,
looking for a sign to do that, this is your sign. Pick something
yeah,
up and do it.
matter of just decision. You know, that's it. And yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Because yeah, it's definitely it does not come easy. Nothing comes
No,
easy. It doesn't
no.
come
And
easy.
if it does come easy, no, there's nothing. It irritates my clients all the fucking time.
Like,
If it comes easy, it's not worth it whatsoever. It's not worth it to have, whether that be your one night stand, whether that be that food that you're getting in a fucking drive through, whether it be that quick paycheck that quick lottery win. At the end of the day, if it comes easy, one, you don't appreciate it as much, and two,
it will be
it's not stable. It'll be
it'll
gone
be
just
gone,
like that.
be gone as fast as you got it. You know.
Perfect
Um,
example is that people who get that gastric sleeve just for the weight loss. Not again, not for the people who actually need it for the actual medical reasons, but for the people who are doing it for the specific weight loss. The reason why you put the weight back on so fast is because you didn't change your damn eating habits.
right.
That's
Yeah.
what's important.
I'm still working on that too. Because, you know, it's like um Like I'm
Shit, I ain't
still
perfect. I just downed a box of Oreo cakesters 2 nights ago, so I can't talk my shit.
work on my diet all the time, you know. But it's just a matter of trial and error with that, you know. Trial and error. You got to be
In
patient with
balance.
your body. Yeah, and balance for sure. You can't be eating Five Guys every single day, you know.
No, not every single day. I'm not downing a box of Oreo cakesters every night. It was just one night, okay? It's literally just one fucking night. It was a celebration.
You got to have some type of discipline, and then like for like, I guess people listen to this like, and they're not really sure as to why they're doing something or what they should do. Like I ask myself that all the time. Like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes like, okay, like why am I? And this is actually a question that I have been thinking about a lot. Like the reason why I'm doing stuff. Like, um, like why am I running or pursuing long distance running? Or why am I doing photography? Why did I leave my cushion IT job, you know, in security? Like that's like good money right there, you know. And like, or why did I leave active duty? Right, that's consistent money right there. A consistent life, a routine.
Why is also your happiness? At the end of the day, are you happy in all of it?
Yeah, exactly. And like the best way I can put it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, maybe you can visualize this for yourself, but the best way I can put it is like I have this canvas and like I have this tray of different colors, right? This tray of different paint colors. And like let's say my photography is like the color red and like and my my running is like the color blue, right? I have like all these little colors. I have like all these colors on my canvas and they're not painting. They're not painting a picture. Right? So now I have all these skills, right? I have all these like habits that I like, hobbies that I like doing. So like now it's like, why? Okay, like what am I doing with it? So now it's a matter of just grabbing your brush and painting, right? So now you got to make purple. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to figure out how to make purple. Well, how to make purple? Well, you gotta pick up the brush and first of all put red and blue together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like just a matter of picking up the brush and doing it. So now, like sometimes it like people like ask me, oh, or people tell me like, oh, it seems like you got it figured out. I really don't.
Mm-mm.
I really don't. I don't. I can tell you right now, like I don't really know. Like I'm still struggling to find what I'm gonna do with the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm at the point where I
I think
picked
you're
up
gonna
the,
do big things. I think you're gonna do some pretty big things, bro. In reality, you stick to what you're doing right now. I really think you're gonna be doing some big things.
yeah, I appreciate it. I hope everyone does. I mean, yeah, you're already doing big things, getting sponsored by Jocko over there.
Well,
Fuck.
trying to at least like, that doesn't come with that doesn't come with one years of taking their products, but also to submitting an actual application and putting out a pretty decent essay on why I should be sponsored by them because hell,
Sure.
it's literally the best fucking products I've ever taken, hands down. That's why it's the only products I really take. Very rarely do I ever take anything else. And yeah, use code Welsh10 for 10% off your order in the future. But
I man, I really enjoyed talking to you, catching up,
all right,
and
definitely gonna do it again soon. And when you come back, when if you do plan to come over here in the summertime around May or whenever you do, just shoot me a DM and we can definitely do this thing in person also.
sure, that sounds exciting. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Not a problem, brother, man. It's been Welshcare. Oh shit, that was actually the one. You would appreciate the reason why I call this thing Welshcare. You remember self care in fucking basic training?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Guess whose ass was at self care almost once every 2 weeks?
Oh,
This
there you go, man.
guy.
Damn.
So I got the nickname Welshcare from my fucking two of my battle buddies from basic, who one they gave me all these like sinus medications because I was always congested no matter what. So I had a shit ton of self-care medication just sitting in my bunk. So when people started feeling sick, they would come up to me. They would say, "Hey, can I visit the pharmacy?" Like, yeah, that's how fucking big it got. But yeah, so then eventually the name Welshcare just kind of stuck, and now it's not only the name of the podcast here, the Welshcare Pod, but it's also half of my personal training business. The Welshcare personal training. I said,
There
fuck
you
it. I
go.
turned that joke into an actual legit.
Into an actual thing. Yeah, man. That's what it's all
Yep.
about. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been the Welshcare podcast. Chris, again, thank you very much for having you on here. I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
All right. See you, bro.